Hey, now it's telling me to rotate my device. I don't want to rotate my device. Hopefully it's going the way I see it. Maybe if somebody plugs in here, we'll see if anybody actually is to watch my video here. I don't know. It's telling me to rotate my device. Okay, let's rotate. We'll rotate this way. It obviously not going to let me do landscape. Hey everybody, Happy New Year. It is December 31st, 2021, and it's kind of amazing. It is 70 degrees today, and my bees are definitely doing some stuff today. Hey Brian, how's it going, man? I decided to do a impromptu live because of, actually prompted by you guys' live last night. Just to give you an idea, it's 70 degrees here today, Brian, and let me show you what I got going on. I was trying to do some earlier. Is this gonna let me flip around? Look at this. I mean, I was gonna clean up today. The bees are going crazy today. I mean, absolutely insane. I filmed some footage earlier. I'm gonna try to put that together, but I don't know. Hopefully they don't go on my drink too much. I put some more patty in there. They're devouring the sugar like crazy. I'm mostly worried about these 5-frame nukes I've got, because I'm worried with this weather that they're going to eat themselves out of. I don't know why I can't see the chat anymore. Let me see. There we go. Let's go. I don't know. It's not showing me the chat now, but they're really, I'm worried they're going to eat themselves out of their stores, especially the smaller hives. The big hives still have some stuff on them. Let me see. Here's another hive. I put some pollen patty in it. Well, there you go. So it's way too warm. It's gonna drop down to the 50s. I don't usually do this, but I've got feeders on the front that have 2-1 in them. Trying just to keep them pacified. I had a little bit left in my bucket over here. And let them get to that. So you can see they're definitely going crazy on that. So what I'm going to try to do is get my bee ecosystem going this year. I've got one hive that I'm really worried about. This hive right here has some bees on it. One just bounced off my head. Oh, it's got an inner cover in it, but they're really light. They don't have that many bees in them. This hive, the yellow hive, was the one that I've lost already. That hive right there also is not doing well. So I thought about, and I would never do this time of year, but it's so warm, of taking the little bit of bees that's out of there and just merging them down to a 5-frame and condensing them down. Been thinking about that, but the rest of my hives are really they're really busy. I mean, it's crazy how much activity we've got today, and it's supposed to be 60s, 70s the next few days, and then it's going to get to it's going to really explode. back into the well, it's supposed to be warm in the 70s, and then it's going to go down to the 50s for a few days, and then it's supposed to get back to 60s, so 50s, 60s. But these bees, I mean, they were bringing in pollen earlier, and I don't know what they're bringing it off of. I've seen, you can see they're kind of some fuzzies, so they're not all old bees. So they had been brooding a little bit. And I've been contemplating hitting them with the OA again. So just a lot of decisions to be made. I mean, they're dragging out the paper towel from the sugar all over. I wish I could come to the Hive Life conference, but it's going to be impossible for me to get there. Make sure no bee got in my drink. Impossible for me to make it. And I really want to, but you know, I even went to my local bee company, because what I'm going to do is where the bees are sitting now, I think I'm going to use for all 10 frame hives. And then what I'm going to do is flip around. So I've got the well, there we go. Oh, hit it one too many times. Sorry about the confusion. There you go. So I've got nukes and 10 frames over here. So I think this is going to be all 10 frames over here this year. And I'm going to put a couple rows over on this other side that are just going to be nukes. So the idea is going to be make nukes out of my 10 frames, raise queens on this side of the road, of the driveway. On the empty side will be where my queen and resources are, and then I'll take those, graduate them to 10 frames over here, and rinse and repeat. So I always have some queens available. And right now I understand it looks kind of crappy over here because, yeah, I just haven't kept up and breaking stuff down. But it's another hive just going to work. They're all going to work today. And all of them. Hey, Time is Honey, good to see you. Appreciate it. So I don't know what it's like in Texas right now, but here in South Carolina today it's 70 degrees. So I'm really worried about these nukes running out of food. But not only that, the big ones that are working really hard today, doing what? I'm not sure. I did see a little bit of pollen coming in, not a whole heap. So I went ahead and put more sugar on these hives today. Let me see, this one should be relatively easy if this is one that I put sugar in. Oh, maybe not. They got that lid propolized, so I would say I didn't put anything in this one. But there we go. But they do have sugar and some stuff in there. That's a strong hive. That's going to be a big hive, and no, I mean, even bigger hive here. Come on, girls, get out the way. I don't need to kill any excess bees. I've got enough dead bees. But that hive right there, I'll be able to split that. So I'm going to put my other my nukes along this side. So I'm going to break these 10 frames down to nukes, graduate them back into my 10 frames. So hopefully I can make some extra queens and be able to keep things up. I usually don't have liquid feed on them this time of year, but it's so warm. I'm just trying to give them whatever I can to make them make it through, because I'm worried they're brooding up too soon, which means they're going to start consuming everything even faster. You know, again, back to you guys' conversation last evening on their, I just don't want them to eat themselves out of stores. I lifted a couple of these bigger hives, like this hive here, well, that hive there, the red and blue one, and they're kind of light. I mean, there's still honey in there, I see it, but they're definitely on it. So with a long weekend, I'm probably going, there's some things I want to do that are better. When I first started, I had some old railroad tie like this, and you see how I have the cinder block set up tall. That's not how I ended up doing it now. The problem I have, this little lizard friend, is that they're kind of tall. So when I start adding a bunch of supers, I'm 6'2", but it gets hard to pull that stuff off, pull the honey off. So what I ended up doing is when I built these two down here, I've literally got one cinder block laying sideways with the treated 4x4s underneath, and the boxes hang off both sides. So it's just supporting in the middle and hanging off on both sides. So that was something I did there and here, and what I'm going to do also with the nukes on the other side of the road when I put them out. But I'm going to replace all these 4x4 ties that are underneath these, the old ones that are bowing and everything, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and turn these blocks, and motorcycle going by. You know, if you're riding a motorcycle on December 31st, it's warm. So set these down like those and lower them down to the ground. The bees don't seem to mind, and keep it going. So I did put pollen patties on them today, and also I mean, they're just going crazy. And I took a little bit that I had left in this bucket, and you know, hey, Brian Castle, I went to the bee company today, and was gonna buy. I was prepared to spend about $1,000 in boxes and frames, and I called before I went because it's 30 miles each way, and they said they were open for holiday hours, and guess what? They were closed when I got there, so couldn't do what I wanted to do. So definitely gonna be rearranging stuff, and getting stuff going. It's just, you know, trying to stay ahead. I've got a guy that's there's my ducks. What's left of them, I got 3 ducks. I had 2 of them get drug off by foxes, I think, this year. So I got 2 boys and a girl right there. And there's a rooster walking around. And the duck, look, the duck's gonna chase him off. It's like, well, hey, time is honey. You know, I've seen a bunch of people say that, you know, that they space them out pretty good, but then I see people like Barnyard Bees that literally has row upon row upon row, and as long as they got enough room to get their mower between, and they keep their hive strengths about the same, that they do pretty good. I mean, you can see I've got some right. Well, I'll show you. I've got let me see if I can get this camera. I don't usually use my phone. I actually film some of my GoPro, but these two are literally like right next to each other. And they got on that stuff really quick right there. So they're eating, not as strong as a couple of my other hives, but still doing okay. I put more patty in that this morning, but they're doing good. So I'm not too terrified about my bees being close. Okay, so to give you an example, my first year that I had bees, which was not this year, this was actually my second season. The first year that I got the bees, which would have been 2020, I guess, I got one nuke, and then I caught a couple swarms. So I had 3, and then I just kept splitting and splitting and splitting and splitting. And the problem that I ran into was I kept my colonies too weak, I think. And then when the beetles came and, you know, wax moths and stuff like that, they were just too weak to be able to fight off any pests that they had. So I ended up I think I added up to 15 colonies, and then by wintertime, when I made it through the winter, I had 4 nukes make it through the winter. And now, conveniently enough, I've built it back up, and I'm back at 14 hives. I had 15, one of them absconded, or there's no dead bees in the bottom, but there's nobody home. So they're gone. And I just left the hive there to get robbed out if anybody wanted to rob it out, or maybe a swarm will move in it or something before I do splits. But the thing is that now I'm back to where I was the first year, and probably would have been better off if the hardest thing for me to do my first year was to not be in the bees. Yeah, so I want to go to the conference. It's really not that far away from me. The problem that I'm having is my mother's got Alzheimer's, so someone's got to be with her all the time in the house. So if I'm at work or something, my wife's stuck 24 hours with no break. So that's kind of tough for me to do. I would love to, but I can't make it to the conference. So, you know, back to what I was saying, I'm back at the top of I'm back to where I was had I not split all those hives down so low. I'm back to 14 hives. So this year, since I've got now my 14 hives, instead of being 14 nukes, are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 10 frame hives, and 4 nukes, or yeah, 10 or 11 10 frames, and then 4 nukes. So I've got more bees than I had. So I think I'm in a better spot now. The key thing is that I've tried to be more proactive. Even like, to give you an idea, I don't know, a lot of people probably do this. But, you know, with the oxalic acid, I drill on my bottom board, and I just got a golf tee. Just use the golf tee and plug up the hole, and that allows me to treat it. There's another thing that I want to, Brian, you might like this. I don't know how far your hives are from your house or how you do your OA. But you know, a lot of people use the battery with the clips on it. I bought something. I haven't tried it for OA yet because I've just been running a long extension cord out. But let me show you something I picked up at AutoZone or Advanced that would probably work instead of one of those things. It's a cup holder that plugs into your cigarette lighter, and It's got plug-in. I don't know if you can see the plug because of the sun. Hold on, let me see if I can turn it where it's... But it's got a plug-in. So you could plug a cord from your vehicle into the lighter, and it's basically a... I haven't tried it with my OA. It says it's 110 volts, but I don't know how many amps. It says 150 watts. So you just pull your vehicle up, run a shorter cord from your vehicle to your Hive, and plug your vaporizer into that. So I got the Pro Vape, which, you know, it's like $500 when I bought it. So it's definitely not a cheap hobby by any stretch. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this. You probably did. I know I'm kind of rambling. I wasn't really planning, but meet my friend Porky, my little pig. Porky, what are you doing? You can talk to the people? No. So yeah, we got a pig, got chickens, so I get enough eggs, ducks, bees. Got plenty going on all the time, but I just thought you guys would find it interesting. That little device that you can plug your devices in for your vehicle, Brian, I think it was like $60 or something at AutoZone. You could probably AutoZone or Advance, so you could probably find them cheaper. I just found that one. It was made by Monster, like the cable company, so I figured that it was pretty good. I'll tell you the most useless things that I've bought since I've been beekeeping to this point. The Aerocell feeders, I hate them. I absolutely hate them. That's why I'm sitting out here. I actually took them out and just used the that was around it as a spacer for my top. The other most useless thing that I spent a bunch of money on because of my beetle problem my first year, which are these things, which you could probably 3D print, Brian. These things are selling for $10 a piece. These Guardian Hive entrances, they're 2 pieces together. This one's probably propolized, but this bottom piece actually slides down a slot, a groove, into this other piece that you mount on the reducer. And it's supposed to keep hive beetles out. But to be honest with you, I've had these on hives and they still have hive beetles. So they look like this on the hive. So supposedly the hive beetles can't go upside down and get in there, but somehow they still manage to get in one way or another. But I've still got them on a few hives, but pretty much you'll just see them laying on the ground by my hives, unfortunately, at this time, because I need to get out here and do some work. In the last week, it's been raining, and then today, they're everywhere. They're flying everywhere today. Bees everywhere. It's Bee-mageddon. What in the world's going on with this box? So that's weird. So let me check this out. So I bought these 2 bottom boxes from Blythewood Bee Company, and I just painted them. And this top box was an old box that I had bought off of an old beekeeper, and that's the bottom gray ones over there. That's why they're all gray. But they don't line up, and the bees have run propolis all the way around here, and there's kind of like a little bee crevice they can get in. Doesn't seem to be stopping the bees from doing their thing today. Moving today. Primo paint. Yeah, I'm kind of cheap. When I say cheap, to some degree, you know, when I buy the boxes from Blythewood Bee Company, to buy them assembled, is $2 more than buying them unassembled. So for me, the trade-off for $2, I go ahead and buy them assembled when I can. I've got all the tools to put them together and whatnot, but I just don't. I end up letting them do it. And then I buy, I got enough junk around here. I probably have a can laying around out in the country. I usually buy that Krylon Max. That's primer and paint and everything. Or Fusion. Let me see, Rust-Oleum Fusion. I actually have a can here. So this stuff, and this is usually what I use to paint it on the outside. I'm thinking about trying to do that natural one where you just dip the boxes in. It's something you put into water. It's a packet you put into water, and then you just dip the whole box in there, and then it protects it naturally. It's supposed to be all natural, not hurt the bees or anything. So if that's the case, I could use this tote I've got over here and put 5 gallons of water in it in the chemical and be able to Greg's gonna wax dip them. I need friends in high places like that, man. Down here in South Carolina where I live, I know of a couple beekeepers. One of them I kind of mentor, and then the other one is my mentor. And my mentor is getting up there in the years. He's a good guy, Mr. Sam, South Carolina Happy Bees. Give him a follow. He does some videos there. He's an old country guy, and he kind of explains what he's doing, but he enjoys putting videos up. He doesn't have that many followers, so if you like watching bees, go find Mr. Sam on South Carolina Happy. But he's got probably, this time of year, I think he's got about 50 hives, but he usually sells nukes in the spring, which is where I got mine originally from. And I might even sell some nukes this spring, depending on how things go with my splits and how many hives I get to make it through, because right now I'm having 3 times as many hives make it through so far this winter as I had the first year. So, my thing is just keep them fed, keep them mite free. As best as I can, And then what I did do is before winter, my weaker hives, I did equalization. I took some brood frames and moved them over to help the weaker colonies be stronger. I've got that 110 frame that's real weak. I don't know if I should go ahead and, since it's warm, move it down to a 5 frame box, or just if they make it, they make it type of deal. Half of me just wants to say, let them try to make it, and the other half says, yeah, if they're gonna die, then what do I have to lose to put them in a 5 frame, and go that way. So I do have some. I think at the beginning of the video when you first came on, Brian, I was prepared to buy about $1,000 worth of boxes and frames today, and the store was closed. 2 reasons I like to buy from Blythewood Bee Company. A, they're local, and B, he's a disabled vet. So those 2 things rank high on my list. If I have to pay a little bit more than I do, it's just how I do things. But I'll be honest with you. Blythewood Bee Company's boxes right now on their website are cheaper than boxes from Man Lake, and by about $5 a box. So it might be worth it to order from Blythewood Bee Company online too, if you're looking for boxes. I know you're trying to keep it around 10. Brian, what are you gonna do when your 10 hive max is reached and you need to do splits, what are you doing? What are you going to do? What's your plan on that? You're going to start selling nukes off of the 10, just making a split. And actually, I had a guy that what he did was he took the old queen. When he made a split, he would take a frame and the old queen and move it over to a 5 frame and let the big hive make a bunch of queen cells. And that's how he did his split. He just took the queen and some bees off to another hive and left it to just split on its own naturally. And I mean, it worked pretty good, I guess. So I don't know. So many, you know, you ask 50 beekeepers something, they're gonna give 50 different answers. But I wanted to try grafting too. We'll see how that goes. I mean, at some point, you know, I think we had this discussion, will we ever get our money like a return on investment? I don't know. Right now it's just more of a love of beekeeping than it is, you know, honey. Everything you do is work, right? So, hey, you know, we can make honey, but you know, that's work. You can get new boxes. Yep. That's work too. So everything you do, you know, I had a friend of mine, I told him, I said, you know, at some point you got to go from being a bee haver to a beekeeper. You know, the bees, you know, bees in nature do their thing. That's great. But they're also in nature. They're not in a box that you threw them in with limited amount of space for food. And we, you know, typically in nature, the bees don't get robbed for their food unless it's like a bear or something like that. But yeah, it's been a nice day, nice week. The bees are out flying. I had a little bit of 2-to-1 left in this bucket. I'll show it one more time before I get off of here. 2-to-1 left, and they've probably drained it all down because there's less bees on it now. I had a little bit of 2-to-1 left in there, but yeah, they've drank it all dry now. Hey, Bruce, good to see you, buddy. My bees, I watched your video. Oh, actually, Mike put out a new video today. And my bees are just going crazy down here in South Carolina. You probably have about the same temperature that we have here in South Carolina. I'm in the middle of South Carolina, and it's 70 degrees today, and the bees are all over. So after you guys' live last night, I went back out today because typically I wouldn't really go in the hives too much this time of year. But yeah, they're feeling kind of light, so I put sugar and actually some pollen sub on, which let me see. I'll show this 5 frame again since Bruce just came on. I got a nuke over here, and they're eating it up. I'm worried about these 5 frames doing just eating themselves out of house and home over here. So let's see. And my dogs are talking to us. So they're just going to town. I mean, these nukes are slammed. And that's a little, I mean, some of these bees are not that old. I mean, judging by the fuzziness of them. So they are definitely working, going crazy. I mean, they were bringing in pollen earlier today. They're taking out some of this crystallized sugar that spilled over. But they're working. I really need to do some cleanup work here. And it's supposed to be this way for the rest of this week, and then it's supposed to get to the 50s and like mid 50s, and then back into the 60s. Oh, great. I really wanted to go to the conference. I mean, it's not that far, if anything, just to hang out with you guys. But having the mom with Alzheimer's just makes it so difficult to do anything. Even coming out here, I got to worry about her walking up on me sometimes. And, you know, so we just do what we can do. I actually talked to some people. You know, Blythewood Bee Company is actually the manufacturers of Swarm Commander. And I asked, were they going to the show? And they're like, no, we just don't have the people right now. I almost was like, hey, I'll go there as Swarm Commander for you guys. But, you know, it's too short notice now for them. But who knows? Who knows what the future will bring with that. Anyway, guys, I've been on here for about 35, 36 minutes. My ducks are talking to us. And I appreciate you guys stopping in and you know, checking out what I've got. You know, one more thing before I go. Last year, if you look back at any of my first videos that I was doing, let me see, flip this back around again. I had my bees lined up around on this back, and they did really well back here until the hive beetles. You know, it's kind of dappled sun, so the trees, when the leaves are on, it's shady part of the day, so it kind of keeps it a little bit cooler. I'm thinking about moving some back over here. I just don't know. I don't know if it's worth the risk against the hive beetles or not, but if you guys have any thoughts or ideas, let me know. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for stopping in. And yeah, thanks, Bruce. I try to catch all your videos when they come out. I really would like to at some point be able to grow to be able to do some pollination and whatnot. Maybe I'll get with you on that in the future. So guys, have a good day. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.